Good morning. We're live. It's Monday morning. It is the 29th of July. August is just around the corner. This week, a new month, and hopefully the last month of winter. Because this morning. I know we talk about this so boring. It's like, oh, it's cold, it's winter, obviously. But I got into the car this morning. Temperature thing said, impossible to read, too fucking cold. Buy another car. That's what it said. I was like, really? No, it didn't say that, but I felt like it should have. I felt like it should have said, just give up. It's never going to go away. And then I realized, but you're still in July, you asshole. Now wake up. Anyway, James and Flex are here. We're ready to give you a show. And I can hear Leigh-Ann. She's coming clunk, clunk, climp, clomp, clip, clop, clip, clop, like one of the Billy Goats gruff down the passage. Here she comes. Yeah, huh? How's it? Nice to see you. How's it? Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you. How did you sleep?
How did I sleep? I slept all right. How did you? Too well.
I have an upper respiratory infection.
A what?
An upper respiratory tract infection.
Does that mean I can get it?
Well, you know, if you're not tough enough, then maybe.
Sit there.
Really?
Yeah, really. Sit at that chair. I'm not having you so close to me.
My Lord.
Rotten. Sit there at the other chair. We can have a gap.
I'm feeling a little poorly.
You're feeling poorly, and you know what? Bad things happen because you
deserve them.
Yes, exactly. There, that's
What's up
better.
with this chair.
I don't know. Change chairs, but don't sit so close to me. Yes, sis. What is this?
I mean, you're lucky I came.
You're gonna bring. What else are you going to bring in here? Emphysema, foot rot.
Well, I
what do you
have
got?
a stray ferret in my bag.
No, absolutely not. Stop it.
Oh, Lord.
How was your weekend? Shitty.
Yeah, I mean, I got woken up by this thing at the crack of dawn on Saturday.
Yeah.
But on we trot.
Flex, you can adjust the other camera so that it is on her over there, but I don't want her sitting so close to me. Absolutely not. If I'm
feel like a leper.
I don't want to get what you got, whatever it is, upper respiratory tract infection. Isn't that just called a cold?
No, that's nasal. This is the top of your chest.
So Qatar.
Yeah. Yes, because of the Qatar. How was your weekend?
I had a lovely weekend.
How was your weekend?
It was very nice, thanks. You know, I got a pretty big dining room at my house, and if I do have one person for supper, which hardly ever happens, but I make them sit at the far end of the table, and I sit at the other far end of the table.
Of course you do.
Yeah, and then we shout at each other for salt and pepper and things like that. That's great. All right, no, I had a very good weekend. Let me tell you about that briefly. One of my very good friends turned 40, and he and his wife held a whole 2-night festival thing in Plett, which was amazing. And you know, that place is, even in winter, it's pretty. I mean, it was freezing yesterday morning when I left there, but the rest of the time it was absolutely lovely. And it was a crowd of about 20 of us, maybe a little bit more than 20, but we all stayed at the place that we had the party on the Friday, the dinner. We were there for breakfasts. It was just so lovely. It's really,
That's
really
becoming
nice.
a theme now of people doing these extended weddings and extended birthdays.
Yeah,
and
I think
destinations.
You know,
and
40's a big one, so I kind of understand it. You know, if you're going to do that for your 37th or your 44th, I'd say that's just not on.
Your 2010.
Yeah, I mean,
11th.
if you're going to do it though for a big number, I think that's quite cool. And really lovely people, lots and lots of fun. Just laughing and being nostalgic and being silly, and it reminded me that, you know, you've got to have good friends in your life. If you don't, you will have a horrible life. Full stop. It's very, very difficult to imagine how dreary and uninteresting people's lives would be. You could have all the money in the world,
all the children in the world,
but you really need good friends to celebrate with,
especially if you don't have children, because you know, when you get on, you're going to need people around you to support you.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that it was a TikTok I saw, the prison party So it starts off, with this whole thing of prisoners boasting about their wonderful lives.
Oh, yeah, we went into that big time on
Yes.
Friday. Yeah, Simpiwe thought it was unacceptable.
Yes.
She wants everything taken away from those prisoners, even their human rights.
Oh,
She's like,
goodness.
take it all away. And I don't disagree.
So this video opens and it's in the prison cells. Everyone's in their uniforms, their orange uniforms, and there's dance music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And you know how they make hooch or whatever in the basins?
Oh, yeah. Disgusting stuff. Yeah.
So there are a bunch of men standing around this basin with this music pumping, and they've got bottles and things. And you can tell everyone's a bit drunk. And then you hear a woman's voice, and I'm thinking, why is this like why are there women in the men's quarters?
Yeah.
And then you see a security guy with like a muzzle on, so he's hidden his identity from the cameras.
Right.
And they're South African. They're speaking Afrikaans or slang to each other.
Yeah.
And then it pans out. They walk out of the prison cell. So all of these jail doors are open in between the bars.
Yeah.
And they've got a bar set up, like a corner bar with lights and the music. They've got Sprite bottles, mixing them with alcohol.
But this is not a prison.
Well,
they're pretending to be.
At that point, only at that point do I realize that someone has a themed party.
Why? Like, that sounds like a lot of work. And why would you want to pretend you were in prison? Like, what makes that cool?
Well, it was just a party. I mean, it was just a themed party. Depends on, whatever floats your boat.
Yes, as I can think of a lot of themes I'd prefer to prison.
But it was on, it's very trendy at the moment because of that video.
Yeah. Okay.
But it really looked real for a moment. I think it was actually held in an old prison.
Sure. Okay. So you probably hire. Yeah, I'm sure you can hire an old prison. What a strange theme. I mean, I can promise you, like, I could think of 1,000 themes that would be better than that.
No, of course.
But okay, if your big fantasy is to be a prisoner, I wonder what other dark shit's going on in your world. But the point I wanted to make was that if you're with cool people, it doesn't really matter where you go. Like, we were in this absolutely magnificent house with this view over these hills and valleys. It was spectacular. And it was just such a lovely weekend. Fun all round, laughing, lots of drinking, just cool and nice to do. And also just kind of breaks that winter feeling a little bit. And I took a long drive because I landed at PE Airport and then drove through, it's about 2 and a bit hours drive. But it's such a lovely drive. And, if you want to just kind of, it's almost like meditation, because it wasn't a busy road. It's not that busy this time of year there. So you're kind of driving down the road on your own, and it gives you a chance to think.
Well, it's like not really meditation, but bless you. So you've already caught it.
God damn it. I hope you're joking.
Anyway, it's like mindfulness, more like you're taking time to focus on something specific, and that's the drive and the scenery, and not think about other shit.
Yeah, and I was in such a happy mood on Friday. I must have looked to some people like either I was high or like intellectually disabled. Like, I was smiling the whole time and listening to music, and I was having such a fun time.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So I hope you had a good weekend. Of course, it was the Olympics opening ceremony on Friday night. Got a lot of response, not all of it good. And then I've been watching some Olympics. I started yesterday when I got back. Archery, which was good fun.
Synchronized swimming I watched.
I saw the Korean women win the archery. I didn't see synchronized swimming. What else did I saw fencing, which is cool.
I saw women's basketball. But just a snippet.
Yeah.
And I don't know which countries were playing. It looked like 2 Asian countries. And the one girl was double the height of the rest. Literally double. But she even moved slowly. She's like technically a giant, right? But she couldn't run fast. She was like...
A lumbering
And
giant.
she starts off on one end of the court, and then starts slowly walking to the other.
Yeah.
For the sole purpose of putting the ball, just tipping it in with her hand into the basket.
Right.
But yeah, that won them the game.
That's very cool. The South Korean girls won the archery. Bloody
Right.
amazing. Even they pull that string right up to the chin.
Mm,
They've even got a plaster on their chin.
yeah,
And they let it go.
it's amazing.
Shit, that's good. I mean, I really enjoyed that. Geez, Gareth's such a meanie, says Jackson, for moving you. Dud says, why don't you make ass wear a mask? They really, really work. Yeah, we figured that out.
I have actually been wearing one in
Really?
the hospitals, yeah.
I think you've given me something. I'm sniffing
Oh,
something.
it's psychosomatic.
I'm telling you, if you make me sick.
Come on.
Gareth didn't want anyone to think he lives in PE while he was waiting to board, says Bitcoin, but I did. Standing in the queue, and I'm on a flight to PE, and I'm like, oh, I hope these people don't think I'm actually going to PE. That was my biggest worry. Not, that the plane could fall out of the sky, or we were running on time or late, or I was at the right gate, or anything else. I'm like, yeah. How do I let them know? I wanted to wear a sign saying, not going to PE. Yeah. Imagine if microphones amplified one's breath and through our audio device. We were talking on Saturday night about those people who have terrible, terrible halitosis and they don't know.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's the worst. There are some people who it smells like the flesh in their throats rotting.
Well, I heard once from a dentist, because I asked him, my boyfriend at the time
had bad breath.
I said to him, what?
Like feet.
Yeah. No, and he said, is he like a gym boot? Because I'd mentioned gym before.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, he is. He said he's obviously into his protein. That's like bits of meat stuck between your teeth that's rotting.
No, but hang on. I mean, like, I know that there is such a thing as like protein farts and things.
Yes.
Right? But halitosis is a condition. It's like you either have a rotten tooth or an abscess or some. And these days, I think they can sort that out. Like, I don't think you have to have that, right?
Ugh.
So
and the worst is having to tell someone. Have you ever had to tell someone?
No. I listen. I'm very sensitive to smell. Right. I really don't like if something smells amazing. Like I'll walk into a house and they're making, like focaccia in the kitchen, or there's something lovely about bread being baked, vanilla. Those kinds of smells I love. I wouldn't say I'm obsessed, but I've got every time I kind of fly overseas, I buy a bottle of like really nice cologne or whatever. So I've got quite a few now, and I go from one to the other and kind of choose on a random basis. But I love really, really nice smells. Conversely, if someone has bad breath or BO or
oh no, I gag immediately. I can't.
And you tell them? You tell them.
Well, my gag tells them.
Really? That you just go.
I literally start heaving, and I have to run out of the room.
Oh,
yeah.
And then, do they ever ask you like, "What's wrong?" Like if they're not aware, because some of these people are not aware of the fact that they are.
Well, no. I mean, like once I was bussed. I saw. A friend of mine came to my house, and she went to the loo, and obviously not for a number one. And I walked past the bathroom and I had to run to my bedroom because I was heaving.
Yeah.
Pretended I was looking for something in my cupboard, and she came in and I turned around and my eyes were all teared up. She said, "I'm so sorry." So she realized. But no, I can't do it with smells.
Ooh, Raven says usually tonsil stones. Tonsil stones.
Oh, have you seen those?
No, sis.
Oh, they remove them and then show you. People have special tools.
Tonsil stones.
Yes, they look like baby teeth.
No.
They're these hard white
Those people
stones.
must just be dragged out into the street and shot.
They pull apart
How does that happen?
The folds of their tonsils. It's so bad.
Really?
Yes.
Bits of food and crap
and
sitting in the grooves
you pull
of
them
the
out
tonsils.
with tweezers.
Ugh.
It's horrible.
That's disgusting. Floss daily, says Simon. Absolutely. Patrick says, deal with your PE issues, Gareth. Ha ha. We're a lacquer town here. Ha. Patrick from PE. Oh, it's him fighting for PE. Do you remember when the mayor of PE banned me?
Did he ban you?
And I went anyway.
I remember the whole PE thing, but I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, there was a story in whatever shit newspaper they have there. Some really crap newspaper, whatever. There's like a headline, front page, like Gareth Cliff calls us armpit of South Africa. It was like, must be a slow news day there if that's the big fucking news. Anyway, so the mayor of the next day in the same shitty newspaper, the mayor's like, Gareth Cliff not welcome here. So I didn't even have a reason to be there, but I flew in the next week, obviously, just to mess with the mayor.
And
I invited the mayor to a party I was DJing at. Didn't come. All talk and no action. Like so much in PE. Except the wind.
Such a shit stirrer.
I walked down the steps of the plane and it was like, hits you like a wall.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Speaking about hitting you like a wall, you know what? One thing I really hate, I found this clip last week and we didn't get to it. It's like these people who film themselves doing dumb shit. That's, here you are with the Olympics, right? You've got these incredible people doing really incredible stuff. I mean, most of it, not the synchronized swimming.
Oh, okay. Each to their own.
I couldn't do that, but it feels like we're in a 30s like Mel Brooks movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't think that it is impressive.
Mm.
Like if you've got a whole group of people doing that, but I'm talking about, people who are just the peak of physical and skill and technical perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are like housefraus who are doing yoga and then they film themselves.
Mm.
And you're like, why? Why? No one on earth is going, we really need Sharon to send. What we need in the world is for Sharon to share her yoga in the morning with us. And then
some people are inspired by that.
Well, here's what should happen every time those people do it. Just play that clip of that. Watch what happens. A photo bomb. That's the best photo bomb ever. Okay. Here's Sharon doing her yoga.
She hasn't noticed.
I mean, that dog is my hero. He showed his balls.
He put his balls right in
his
the lens.
Asshole. It's like right there. He's like, and this woman's like in the background, and the dog is like, balls, asshole.
And she's playing it back later to edit it.
I love
she gets hit with
I love that dog.
Sack of balls.
I love that dog. I want to adopt it. So good. All right. So here are some people. It's like they breathe through their asshole, says Nick. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with that halitosis. Gareth, have you ever moved into a duplex that smells of damp, asking for a friend?
Ooh.
Ugh. That's got to be so shit.
I would walk out immediately.
Well, we used to have the little recording booth at Cliff Central. It was a separate little room
with a table and
and we
two
would
or three
record.
People could sit in there.
Right, we'd record podcasts in there. I remember the only time I ever recorded in there was Helen Zilla, but it smelt like an animal had died.
Mm.
Do you remember that? Sure. And I think what it was like some sort of rat or something had been poisoned, or because you put rat poison down and then the rat's meant to get out and go try to find water. And then it dies on its way to find water, because it dehydrates and turns to like dust. Well, you would think, but this thing, whatever happened to it, and I don't know if it was in the floor or in the roof, we never could find it. We tore that place apart and we could not find the smell. But there was something dead. And there are people whose breath actually smells like that.
Mm.
That's how bad. Our own farts always smell better, says Steve, who's currently sitting Dutch ovening his poor wife. You are frozen, 3 said James to his girlfriend, you froze. Snipes, you're very high this morning. Yeah, I don't know what that means either. Tracy says, imagine the smell coming from the ceiling in that Stellenbosch hospital when that guy got stuck up there.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yes, there was a body. They found a body in the ceiling of that hospital. This is years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years ago.
But what was it doing there? Did he die up there or did someone put him there?
Obviously, he died and then they put him up there. I mean, I don't know. He was crawling around in the ceiling. We did have that horrific story from MASH like last year sometime about people who secretly live in your house that you don't know about.
Yes, I brought a video for you of someone who was living in the ceiling and of the kitchen and would crawl out at night.
That's right. And they'd go and raid the fridge.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. And then the person would wake up and they'd be like, am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Because there's someone living in my ceiling. Gord sang that legendary ceiling song about the roof. Yes, that's correct. That's the one. Kamogelo says, I'm the co-owner of the Imbaula podcast, and I usually listen. What is he saying here? I usually listen and comment with the account in the office. I'm on bed rest today. Well, Kamogelo, we noticed. Now I love it when people bring up, just in case you guys don't notice, I'm not going to be in the comments section today. No, we didn't notice. Sorry. We didn't even know, Kamogelo, so thanks for that. Remember the oak who was caught masturbating at the yoga class at Virgin Active? He enjoys those yoga videos. That's a good point. There are some sick people in the world. There's probably someone who really likes the idea of the dog balls and arsehole. There's going to be someone, I
was sitting in the office the other day and we are near a literal water cooler. It's at our end of the office block.
Uh-huh.
And so when we're working quietly and tapping on our laptops. No, it's a modern one.
Oh.
It's a modern one that dispenses cold and hot water.
Okay.
And so you hear people's conversations around the water cooler. And there were these 2 men the other day, like real four-ways butts.
Yeah.
And they were saying, no, we go to kickboxing, eh? And we watched the chicks doing, what was it? We watched the chicks doing pull-ups.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose some people don't have a lot of entertainment in their lives, so they have to perv and inappropriately over other people.
Mm.
There was a lot of talk about that last week too. But we're going to do better this morning than any of that. We did mention the Olympic opening ceremony. Did you watch it?
Oh, my goodness. How amazing.
You loved it?
Yes.
You thought it was beautiful?
Okay, so there were very slow parts, like a lot of up and down the river.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, how many boats do you really want to see?
Yeah.
And because because the athletes weren't walking or parading, you couldn't really get to see their outfits and that sort of thing. And then there were quite a few people who were upset because, like, the USA boat was huge, and then there were some tiny boats. But it depended on how many people there were.
Did you send? I mean, what you think you're going to squeeze everybody into rubber dinghies, and then the Chinese and Americans are sending someone for every sport?
Yeah,
they're all going to have to squeeze on there like refugee. Oh wait,
no,
there were refugees. The United Nations, or I don't know what they call them, the refugee team. I mean, they're from all these cuck places that won't have them anymore, but they still want to compete. I'm like, no. The whole point of the Olympics is you have to compete under the flag of a country. You're not allowed to just come here with your refugee team. And I saw like Palestine entered a team. It's not a country. There is no such place. There is no such thing. There is no entity known as Palestine in the world. It's not a country. You can't enter a team. It's like me saying, well, I'm going to enter a team from my house. I'm going to send me. I'm going to have my own boat, my own flag, and I'm going to fucking take part in as whatever I want. Because I've got a flag, and I'm just going to declare myself a sovereign state. You can't do that. They're rules. Yes, these people are so stupid. Anyway, I didn't watch it, so I actually have no comment.
Oh, no. Okay, so
I just saw the outrage on social media.
About the drag queens.
The drag queens, the mockery of the Last Supper, the
menage a trois.
And the guy with his balls sticking out for some bizarre reason. Did everybody else see that? It wasn't just me. Why did that end up in the feed? You know,
I
dog
didn't
balls
see
are one
that.
thing while a girl's doing yoga, but there was a dude in like a leotard or whatever, but his bollock was hanging right out on the side.
Oh,
You can't tell me he didn't feel that. I would know. If I had a ball outside of my underwear, I'd know. Flex, James, you would know, right? Yeah, you'd feel that. You'd feel the breeze. Be like, whoa.
no, I did not see that, I must admit.
Guy had his ball out on TV. It's meant to be like a family thing.
What was he? Was he a performer?
Don't know. I didn't watch. I just saw the outrage. And let me tell you, like, there's a lot to be said for, can we please just stop with the fucking drag and the men dressed as women? And what is this? Why must we have? Why? It's not entertaining. I don't want to see a man with a beard pretend is dressed as a woman singing like a woman. I don't want to see it.
Oh.
So Celine Dion, you go back home. Sorry. No, that's different. Sorry.
I find it very entertaining. I think they're amazing.
No. They're not. They're not, especially when they're doing it with children there. They had children in the video. They had these kids standing with these fucking freaks of nature, because they are. Men with big blonde beards dressed as women. I mean, like, come on. You guys can't even figure out what the hell you want. And now you got children there getting all confused. They have
figured out what they want.
No, they don't. They don't know what they want, because you know what they'll do. Like, if they're not going to get attention with their beard and their dress, they'll find something else to get attention from. It'll be totally different. Then they'll claim to be a frog. These are severely badly raised and or mentally ill people.
Oh.
Yes, I'm going to say it. And I'm so sorry. I'm not going to watch this stuff. I have no desire to watch the Olympic opening ceremony. Clearly, I'm not the only one, because they took down the video. The Olympic Committee officially took down the video. They've had people say that they're going to cancel their advertising. Listen, this is coming from me. I'm not religious. I'm not prudish. I'm not I'm really not anti anybody. I just like, why would you have children dancing around with drag queens? What is this? What is this? Like a grooming school or something? What's going on? I know you're very into that stuff. I know you like it. I just don't. I don't like the idea that there should be a little girl standing next to some dude with his bollock out. I don't think it's right. And even if it's his daughter on national TV, it's not right.
Yeah.
You know?
People were upset as well at the hinting of a threesome. Where there were two men and a woman who got together. That was pre-recorded footage. But while that was playing, and this is what fascinated me the most, were those dancers on those poles that were bending and swaying. And these long bendy poles with dancers on the end of them.
That sounds good.
It was amazing.
Okay.
Absolutely stunning.
No, look, I'm sure there are parts of it that were very good. I mean, because the French can put on a hell of a show. But honestly, I just feel like it was designed to be provocative. And I'm like, guys, this is not an opening of an art gallery for a bunch of liberal white people who want to be shocked. This is like the world's Olympic opening ceremony. Do you really think they showed any of that in China? I promise you they didn't. They cut the feed. They were like, fuck this shit. They're like, cut that off. I don't think India wanted to watch it. I don't think 3/4 of Africa wanted to watch it. I don't think anybody did. So why,
you have a point.
Why
Absolutely.
make a ceremony to lose 2/3 of your audience to? Why? Why would you do that? Unless you like, and I know that the French can be very otherwise.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me like the entire purpose was to piss people off and to go like, we are going to, because the thing was put together by a gay guy. I think he's Jewish. He lived in France most of his life. He didn't tell anyone what the show was. So it's not as if anyone could even prove, what was going on was bad or good or whatever. I think, okay, fine. You can do whatever you want at the opening of some weird art gallery or, something like that. This is like the world ceremony, first of all. Second of all, there are children watching and there are children present during this ceremony. There's some stuff that you just don't need to have kids exposed to at any age until they're old enough to decide that that's what they want to see themselves. Again, I'm not prudish. I'm not religious. So don't come at me with the fact that there was pagan symbolism and it's like the feast of the gods. I know all that shit. I studied history. I've seen enough art in my life, and I'm not bothered by that. I just don't think it's right to force this down people's throats. Really, and that's what they were doing.
Yeah, because they had a captive audience as well.
Correct.
Yeah. I hear you 100%.
Also, you're like, guys, if you're one of those guys who likes dressing up in drag, cool. I really don't mind that. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not mine. I don't find it entertaining. I've always been very honest about the fact that I don't find it fun or entertaining. But there are people who like it, and that's perfectly okay. And God bless you. And go ahead and entertain those people. It's a performance art, right? So I get that, but don't force it into prime time in the world's biggest sporting event. What you do is you take all the potential people who would want to watch, because they're coming for the Olympics, remember, they're not coming for your fucking drag show. And then you piss them off. It's just unnecessary. Honestly. Patrick says it's a representation of the downfall of the West. It may well be. Did you see Snoop carrying his giant joint torch? Yeah, no, that was fun. And I did see a little bit of that Celine thing. And I thought, isn't she like frozen stiff the whole time?
Stiff person syndrome.
No, like she can't fucking move.
So I didn't see her performance, and
she was moving.
My mom said she looked amazing, and she did really well.
It was moving, and she was moving. So I don't know. Does the stiff person thing just come on like an epileptic fit?
Yes, it does. Yeah, okay. It does. It comes on. I don't know if she had medication to control it that you perhaps can't take all the time, but apparently it was amazing. It may have been her last performance. Well,
Dr. Robin says, GC, you can't be outraged without watching it. There were weird bits, but I just put it down to the French being French. That's also, look, I understand the French do go out of their way to be weird. I understand that. Celine was great, says Tyron, but slightly stiff. They've taken the spotlight from the athletes at this point, and these athletes work very hard to be there. Selfish agenda-driven people. That's what Judas says. Look, again, I understand an opening ceremony it's a show. So I don't mind if there's like a drag queen or two in a show. But again, not to put too fine a point on it. Must all of the male performers be drag queens? And must the one that isn't have his bollock out? And must there be children dancing around while all of this is happening? I don't think that's necessary. If that makes me a prude, cool. Then I'm a prude. I'd rather be a prude than be doing that weird shit. Thank you very much. And I don't think that's unreasonable. What is unreasonable is James. He's sitting here.
Hi.
Look, you're looking unreasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You're looking unreasonable. So, okay, let's look at some of the sport over the weekend. I mean, we've talked a little bit about the Olympics, but do you want to start with that?
We can start with the Olympics.
All right. The sport is brought to you by Superbets. We reconvene every Monday and we go through some of the results, and that's why James is sitting here. So let's start with that.
One of the few and only reasons I'm sitting here.
Have you watched any of it? Did you watch any of it?
I did. This weekend was quite a lot of fun, actually.
Oh.
I enjoy having the channel surfing opportunities.
Oh.
Go across all the channels. You got hockey on the one, and then it's
football
and judo.
I saw them doing some judo, and then I saw some swimming. I saw we did very well in the heats. I think the finals are today.
Yes.
One of our female swimmers came first.
Correct. Tatiana Smith last night.
That's right.
Yeah.
So well done to her.
So the cool thing about that is she set the same time last night in her semi-final that she set in her prelim qualification for the Olympics. So I think it was 1:05.
Nice.
Was the exact same time she got last night to the millisecond.
Go Tatiana and win.
Yeah, that is happening today. She's got a final later on today. I think it's this evening. I'm not actually sure, but that is happening today. There's another 20-year-old that did really well this weekend in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Kutsia, 100-meter backstroke. He did that. Set a new African record on his way to join second place in the semi-final. Reaching the wall in 52.63 seconds. So 20-year-olds doing things there also at the Olympics for us. On the bad side of the coin, just real quickly, bad luck for two of our athletes. Desperate disappointment for both gymnast Caitlin Roskrantz and mountain biker Candice Lill. Rosecrans injured her foot during her floor routine and was unable to continue for the rest of the competition.
That is irritating. So she was doing well, and then what? She stood badly or stepped on something, or
a bit of an awkward.
Can you
landing.
imagine that happening to you? You've spent your life training, and then this happens.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep. That's exactly it. That also happened with Candice Lill, 32-year-old, who's been in the sport for years and years. Didn't go her way on the weekend, so she's also out of the Olympics, which it's not the one. It's not the one for her. That's for mountain biking, by the way, which is really cool. And then our rowers are into the semis. SA men's pair, John Smith, who was a gold medalist in London 2019, and Chris Baxter finished second in their heat behind Great Britain. So they will go on to the semis and the rowing there. That's for the doubles. And then last night I watched the hockey. That was actually quite exciting.
Yeah, I saw our hockey guys.
Yeah, South Africa versus Great Britain. I keep forgetting that England isn't England at the Olympics.
No, it's Great Britain.
Like all of the United Kingdom countries, right?
Please, can you imagine Wales participating on their own? That'd be like me having that home team that I was talking about. The Gareth team with our own flag, me on the boat on my own.
Gareth Llewellyn Cliff.
Yeah, exactly. Wheels. So they have to go as Great Britain.
They played against Great Britain last night. They took the lead first in the first quarter of the game, which was really exciting, really great to watch because they are considered the favorites in a lot of the disciplines for the Olympics. But South Africa did take the lead. They lost the lead. It ended 2-2 there for them. Unfortunately, they aren't bottom of the pool, and the top 5 qualify for the next round. So we've still got a chance. What I'm saying.
Okay, right. We're holding thumbs.
And then women's hockey, they lost to Australia 2-1 over the weekend.
I was told by a colleague who plays women's hockey.
Oh yeah,
she's a woman. That. She plays as an adult now after playing it all her life, at school varsity. And she said watching women's hockey is like watching paint dry. It's like not the thing that you're supposed to say. But maybe it is a bit slow.
I'm not actually sure. I don't think I've ever watched a game of women's hockey. I think hockey in general can be like watching paint dry. Like it can be boring.
Yeah.
But also it's a little bit fun at times also. You know? The rugby also happened this weekend. The Blitzbox. We got our first medal, guys. That
bronze medal.
Bronze medal for the Blitzbox men, which is amazing. And then I think, there was so much action this weekend from the Olympics, guys.
Yeah, we can't go through all of it.
Too much.
Some of these aren't really even sports. I mean, there was those, the chicks with the ribbons.
Gymnasts.
With the ribbons. I mean, there are gymnasts. They're the people who do the jumps and the vaults and the spins and the rings and the...
All gymnasts do all of those things.
Well, what's the ribbons then? What's that all about?
It's artistic gymnastics.
It's dancing, man.
Yeah, well, sometimes those are the same gymnasts who do the pole vaulting and they just
then they stick to the thing that's impressive, not the fucking ribbons. You know how much we have to squeeze? Routine. Listen. We have to squeeze in a lot, okay? I started watching before the opening ceremony when there were those people with the pistols and the patch over the one eye. The shooters.
That's so much more of a sport than ribbons.
It is.
Having a patch and shooting things.
Yes. Way more.
Oh dear.
Dancing with ribbons.
Okay, something that is a sport also happened this weekend. It was UFC 304. Ben made some great calls this weekend and got all of them right.
Ben is very good.
Wild.
Bet with Ben.
I agree.
That's what we should call it.
Yep.
Bet with Ben.
BWB.
Yeah. Right.
Bilal Muhammad beat Leon Edwards. That was one of Ben's calls. Tom Aspinall also beat Curtis Blades, also one of Ben's calls. And then lastly, Paddy Pimblett beat King Green, which was also one of Ben's calls. So he got all 3 of those
Very
calls
good.
correct.
Okay, well done to him.
Lastly, Formula 1 also happened this weekend. Some drama
for
the first time in a while.
Yes, I heard about this.
Dun, dun.
We like drama, guys. So George Russell ended up finishing the Grand Prix in first place victory for Mercedes. We love that. Lewis Hamilton was second. Everyone was happy. And then about 3 hours after the race, George Russell had been disqualified for coming into the pits after the race being 1.5 kilograms under the minimum weight to end the race. So his teammate Lewis Hamilton got the victory. No trophy for George Russell. Oscar Piastri in second. Charles Leclerc in third for that Grand Prix. So, yeah, that's how that weekend went.
Scandal.
What a weekend of sport.
Yeah, listen, I do think I'm going to end up wasting a huge amount of time with the Olympics on. Because if I get in front of the TV, I'm going to find something to watch. There was so much choice yesterday. The one thing I go straight through, I mean, I could care less about hockey, I'm afraid. I mean, I saw the guys like kind of starting the match, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to watch this. I'm not interested in women playing rugby. That I don't want to see. The ribbon one, that's not important to me. That shit.
What about
swimming? Is mostly kind of boring unless there's someone in it that we want to win.
Right.
Like if it's down to Canada and New Zealand and China and Kazakhstan in the pool, I'm like,
yeah,
nobody cares. But if one of our people's in, then I'll watch something.
What about this weekend? We had something called Nadal-Karaz take place, which I thought was pretty cool.
Nadal-Karaz?
Nadal-Karaz. So, how unfair is this also? Okay, by the way.
Was this the tennis game?
This was the doubles tennis
yes.
at the Olympics.
Yes.
Spain are playing. Their team for doubles tennis
was Nadal-Alcaraz.
Nadal and Alcaraz, arguably two of the greatest to ever do it.
Everyone else was just, there's no chance, right?
Why would you even show up? I wouldn't. Ridiculous.
All right.
That's the sport.
Thank you very much.
That's all of it.
That's good. And there's plenty more where that came from. If you're into any one of those particular sports, let us know in the comments. Superbet supports responsible gambling. Strictly no under 18s. Winners know when to stop. The South African Responsible Gambling Foundation's toll-free counseling hotline, 0800 006 008. Hey, we get Dr. Hanan? Right. Let's get him. Hurry up, James. What were you doing the whole time? My God, man. Buggers around. You saw that?
I mean, he's had...
How much time? He's had so much time. I mean, at this rate, we're only going to have 5 minutes with Dr. Hanan because you're buggering around. Oh, but I'm trying. No, in the words of Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. All right. For Dr. Hanan, got an email from someone called Lauren. She says, after 25 years together, my husband and I have decided to separate. We've both changed a lot and don't make each other happy anymore. We're still trying to be friends, though, and we're co-parenting our teenager. Due to financial constraints, we can't afford to live separately at this stage, so we've agreed to stay under the same roof for now. Oof. We realize this situation needs some ground rules, and I was wondering if you could offer some advice to make it work well for all of us, especially our teenager. Yo, that's a tough one. Where do we begin?
Goodness me.
So let's get Dr. Hanan on. Oh, okay. James is still... I apologize to everybody for the unprofessional behavior of our producer, James, but we'll train him with the Shambok until he's ready. That would be a fun thing at the Olympics, wouldn't it?
What a sport.
Imagine producer chasing with a Shambok. Huh? That'd be good. Hey, by the way, you're getting that dominatrix for us sometime soon. Getting an actual dominatrix.
Isn't August like...
August is this week, man. Yeah. August's coming. Whether you're ready or not. In fact, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Shit. No, man, there's 31 days in July. So it's only Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, don't lie to me, Leigh-Ann. We rely on you for the truth.
I just agreed with your lie. That's all.
You're our truth teller. Don't lie. All right, let's see if we can get Dr. Hanan on. By the way, this is what we do every Monday with our live-in psychologist, poor Dr. Hanan. He makes himself available to us once a week. We just give him our problems. He solves them for us, and then we can start the week properly.
He sleeps on the sofa next door.
Yeah.
Just so we can wake him up whenever we need him.
So we can lie on the sofa and moan incessantly.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc, how are you? Oh, my God. Sorry, guys. Producer James. I don't know what he was doing the whole time.
I know.
While he should have been getting Dr. Hanan, because honestly,
All he had to do was to walk to another room.
I know. And I am looking at the comments section, which is full of vim and vigor this morning. There's lots of rude people here. I love it. Are they still stooping? That's going to confuse things. Carl asking about Lauren.
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay. So I think we've got to get into all of that. I surf, says Dudley, but I don't think it belongs. People that don't surf must think it's so boring to watch. Oh, I don't know. Hey, I could watch surfing. You
Yeah,
wanna watch
no,
surfing?
especially the big pros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently they're doing the surfing in Tahiti. Because
Okay.
you can't do it off the Norman coast.
No,
Imagine,
of course.
off Brittany.
off the rivers.
Imagine you well, I think we would do the surfing in Biarritz where the waves go
Yes.
in the Côte d'Azur.
Yeah.
Huh?
in
Imagine.
Nice.
Yeah, snow, surfing in Nice. You'll need the world's
You need
tiniest
a
little
jetpack.
board. Yeah, and a jetpack. Exactly. Ridiculous. All right. Have we got him? Oh my God. What is this? I mean, it's did you disturb Dr. Hanan in the loo? Is that what happened?
Oh dear. I mean, when you've got to go.
Okay, well, Ben even joked, by the way, about Tahiti being used for the surfing.
Oh, right.
He said this is a part of Paris that doesn't really get promoted enough tourism-wise.
Who knew it was
Yeah.
part of Paris?
Exactly. Paris 2024. It's just great. I'm not even going to say it. You tell me when he's ready. Okay? Surf up the river on high tide, says Springbok Simmer. Carl DeSantis says, Bitcoin, but they should not be having sex with a teenager. That's fucked up. No, man. You guys are getting crossed wires here. This is the person's asking. They're a family, right? She doesn't want to be with the husband anymore. It's just not working anymore. But they have to live together because they can't afford to live apart.
Mm.
That's the game. I'm gonna have to replace the story with, I don't know, animals to make it make sense to you.
Cartoon characters.
This
This is the mum. This
Yeah.
is the dad.
No, like Barbie dolls. We should actually bring back the Barbie dolls. Remember, I used to actually demonstrate on the show the different Barbie and Ken
Yes.
things that could happen.
Yes.
And then we would leave them in the studio in awkward positions, and everyone else had to find them. I think we must bring that back because honestly, I think people have lost their minds. Some great rugby also happened, says Bushveldput. Hey, Doc, how's it?
Hey, Gareth, how's it going? Leigh-Ann, how's it?
Good. Nice to see you. I'm sorry that James was messing you around there. So, Dr. Hanan, I don't know if you heard this, but I'm going to read it again just so we don't mess up any of the context here. So, Lauren says, I've been with my husband 25 years and we've decided to separate. We've both changed a lot and we don't make each other happy anymore. That's not such a rare thing, right? It happens to a lot of people. We're still trying to be friends, though, and we're co-parenting our teenager. Due to financial constraints, we can't afford to live separately at this stage, so we've agreed to stay under the same roof for now. We realize this situation needs some ground rules. I was just wondering if you could offer some advice to make it work well for all of us, especially for our kid.
Sounds like an impossible situation.
Yeah, that's tough, huh?
So, obviously, the fact that they decided to split, that's not a bad thing, especially if they're doing it for the right reasons. A lot of couples stay together for the sake of the relation or for the sake of the kids, and ultimately they're damaging the kids inadvertently anyway.
Right.
So deciding to actually let go of a relationship that's not working for the sake of the kids is very healthy as long as you follow two particular rules. Number one is you will not believe how many parents act like absolute kids. But number one, you have to have a kind, respectful relationship with your spouse or with your ex-spouse. You have to do it. Because otherwise, if you don't, it just hurts the kids. So you don't have to love them anymore as you did before, but you have to have a respectful, kind relationship because your kids love you, your child loves their other parent. And if you actually treat them with a sign or with any form of disrespect, your child will be torn in the middle and you're asking them to pick sides which they cannot do. So number one, have a kind, respectful relationship with a spouse. Now, I don't care, parents will say to me, but I don't like the other person, or we've had an altercation. I don't care. I don't care. You do it for the sake of your child. The moment you choose to bring a child into the world, you take on not only the value of that, but you take on the responsibility of that too. Value comes with responsibility, and you've owned it. And now you have to live out the rules of the game, which is you have to do what's best for your child. And what's best for your child is have a respectful, kind relationship with the spouse. The other thing that you can do, or this particular emailer, for the sake of your teenage daughter, is you want to set particular rule sets that are clear and understandable and very descriptive. And the more specific you are, the easier it will be for your child to cope. So, for example, when are you having dinners together? Are you having breakfasts together? Are you going out on the weekend together? Where are the parents sleeping? Are they sleeping in the same bedroom, or are they sleeping separately? Much anything. Children can deal with pretty much anything as long as they understand specifically what they're dealing with. So don't think that just because you're sleeping in two separate bedrooms, your children are not going to cope. They're going to cope as long as you stick to the rule sets. So if, for example, you're sleeping in two separate bedrooms and then you move in together and then you love each other and then you swear at each other and then you're kind and then you're unkind, that's what children cannot cope with. But as long as you stick to particular rule sets of what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, what your child is allowed to do, what your child is not allowed to do, because this is quite important. Let me mention this in the time that we have remaining. A lot of parents, when they go through this kind of divorce or this kind of separation, they feel guilty and overcompensate by being by letting go of certain particular rules for their children because they feel bad. Your teenage daughter still needs rules in the house. There's certain studying rules. There's certain school rules. There's certain ways of engaging with you rules. There's certain chores in the house, feeding the dogs, putting your dishes in the sink. Don't let go of that, because children function really well the moment they understand the rules of the game. So those are the three things. One, have a respectful, kind relationship with your spouse. Two, have a particular rule set for how you'll engage in the family, the family structure, when you'll meet or when you'll discuss or when you'll have dinners together, what you'll do on the weekends, etc., 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 where you'll sleep. And number three, have particular rule sets that are appropriate for your teenage girl and stick to it.
Sure, consistency. I'm hearing that
Definitely.
over and over again. And like anything in life, children respond best once they know what the rules of the game are.
Yeah. They don't want to be surprised by anything. Just keep it consistent. Sure.
But that is a tough situation.
Yeah, that's horribly tough.
If you have to live with someone who used to be your partner, your husband, wife, and now you're living under the same roof and you've adopted a different set of rules, I don't know how many adults are able to do that. Hey, that's difficult.
Especially because the situation is it's fluid. So things are going to start happening. You're going to start hearing about your husband who is now seen with another woman. And oh gosh, that's really complex. But
it is really complicated and it is really complex. But again, to your point, the human brain likes to be able to predict. The moment we can predict, we can really cope. So how many times have I said on the show, we as human beings, we are horrible at predicting, but we're amazing at adapting. But we can only adapt to what is real and what is defined. If you do not define it for yourselves and your kids, they cannot adapt. As long as the rules of the games are clear, then they'll be able to adapt. So yes, it is a difficult situation, but this is a much better situation than parents staying married in a terrible marriage for the sake of the kids in inverted commas. So this is a much healthier situation. So we can make it work.
How many people are putting on a show for their kids? But the kids know, right? The kids can tell like mommy and daddy are not getting along.
Yeah, it's like
you won't
there's
believe
no
how many.
in sight.
Yeah, you won't believe how many of those kids now that I see as adults. And every single one of them tell me in the practice, Hanan, my parents should have been divorced 25 years ago. They try to hide us from us, but we're not stupid.
Yeah.
We can see them arguing in the bathroom. Even if they try to hide the arguing, you can see the discontentment. You can see the actual resentment behind the scenes. You can feel it. It's palatable at the dinner table when dad's, staying at work too late, or mom is like kind of like pushing his buttons, thinking that the kids are not watching.
When dad asks for the salt and mom goes, "Fuck you, you asshole, you've ruined my life." Like that kind of
subtle
thing.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The children will pick up on that.
I think the kids will know.
Yeah.
Yeah. As subtle as that is, they just pick it up.
Oh man. All right, listen, good luck to you. I've forgotten her name already.
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. All right, you see, that's the kind of husband I'd be. Hey, you.
Forgotten her name after 25 years.
How's the spare room? Is it all right? You like the spare room? Huh? Need fresh linen? Get your own. It's that kind of shit. No. Good luck, Lauren. That's not going to be easy. All right, everybody. That's Dr. Hanan. I'm sorry that we took so long to get you on the line, Dr. Hanan. Very nice to see you again. Have an excellent week.
Nice to see you guys.
Lovely.
You too, guys.
We'll be back in just a moment or two with a whole lot more on the Gareth Cliff Show this morning on the Real Network. And we've got Alan Knott-Craig.
Right. Because it was going to be Craig, but I'm sorry. I had to. So Craig isn't coming anymore. I was looking forward to seeing Craig. Oh, well.
Alan Knott-Craig.
Okay.
KNOTT-Craig is an entrepreneur, author, and the founder of Fiber Time TM. We've met him before. He's been on the show before. He'll be joining us online in just a short bit. Don't go away.
I haven't driven a hybrid car where things have gone totally wrong and topsy-turvy. So that's what I would say.
And your name?
Well, hybrids are generally a little bit heavier.
Yes.
So that can impact things like tires and so on. But I mean, I think they're eco-friendly. They have good resale value. Manufacturing is slightly eco-friendlier. That is debatable, of course.
Yes.
But the fact that they charge themselves through regenerative braking, I mean, the fuel savings, for example. And I mean, you don't have to spend big on a hybrid. I mean, look at the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. They're not expensive. If you're going for like a lightly used Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid, then it's an absolute win-win situation.
Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
I don't care about this whole, this is my competition, this is my pool. I am winning the That's Gold Clip Shift pool this year.
Yeah, you definitely are winning.
I'm
That's because you have a burner phone. Guys, if you see Ben's other random account there, please, it's a burner phone.
So guys, I'm winning. If you go to
Mfundo, I'm backing you, brother. We'll share it down the line.
I'm taking you down. I don't care.
We'll share it down the line.
I've got enough friends. Clip Shift, That's Gold.co.za, okay? Every time a BOK team gets announced, you go onto there and you get the team, okay? So there, click on Portugal versus SA, and then you spin. It's so super simple. And then I've already got tight forward this whole time. So I'm going to spin right now.
Spinning.
Oh, that's good. I got Andre Estesen. Okay, so I've got a starting back this time round. Inside center. He's going to score 4 tries. He's so much bigger than the rest of them.
Alrighty, we are live. Monday morning, it's the 29th of July, and Leigh-Ann is here. Leigh-Ann Moll, she's sitting there with her phone. She's busy furiously finding us all kinds of news stories and things.
Forgot where I was for a moment.
Videos. Yeah, you also forgot where you were this morning when you were meant to wake up and come and do the show, because you walked in here at like 10 past 6.
Yeah, but
hi, everybody.
I needed some grace because I have a...
She thinks she's the Dalai Lama. She expects a big grand welcoming.
I certainly did not.
You did.
No.
You walked in and you looked at all of us like, what are you all doing here?
Rubbish. Rubbish.
All right. So we have quite a lot to talk about this morning.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I thought maybe we would start with something that you wanted to talk about, because I'm that kind.
That's what I was hinting at.
Right. Okay, exactly. So let's talk about Annelien Kriel. Do you remember her?
Oh, yes.
Annelien Kriel was Miss South Africa. She was also Miss World, wasn't she?
That's right.
Yeah. She was like the most beautiful woman in South Africa. I remember I was like a little kid and people used to talk about her like she was a goddess.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, there's no doubt that she was pretty. And she's just turned 69 years old. She married Sol Kerzner as well.
Yes, she did.
Who was the CEO of Sun International. He was the guy who built the Palace and Sun City and all kinds of other cool stuff. A real business maven. And he fell head over heels for Annelien Kriel and married her.
That was in 1980. They divorced in 1985.
Wow.
And then she married Peter Bacon in between Philip Tucker, but then Peter Bacon, who's the CEO of Sun International and the former protege of Kerzner.
Was a long time after Kerzner, but isn't anymore. Not for a long time.
And they chose Mauritius as their new home. I don't know if they still live there now, but she's quite big on social media. She is? Yeah.
I don't follow her. Maybe I should.
She doesn't take herself very seriously, which is nice. And she's just kind of gracefully slotted into her age. She looks amazing at 69.
Is that her birthday cake?
Yeah, it is. Looks very underwhelming, doesn't it?
No, I think it's cool.
Okay.
You judge people by their cake, Leigh-Ann? What kind of a monster are you? Huh?
I mean, it could have had another tier, surely.
Oh, please.
After 69 years.
You just said she doesn't take herself seriously. Plus, 69 is not a big number.
No, this is true.
It is in sex, but not in age.
So why is this significant then? Why am I bringing it up?
Tell me why you've brought up Annelien Kriel and had to show off her cake that you've been rude about.
So there's another picture there, James. And someone sent this to me yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Saying that they had inserted me into the middle.
It does look a bit like you in the 40s one.
How strange. And it's not. That's
her.
Actually her. And then it reminded me, and I mean, there's nothing worse than a woman saying, don't I look like a beauty queen? I certainly don't mean that, but there's something in the facial structure which is kind of there. It reminded me that my uncle from a very young age, when I was, I don't know, about 10, said she looks like Annelien Kriel.
Really?
Yeah, so weird. Okay, I mean, there's Claire Johnston as well.
So you just brought her up so that you could get some compliments today.
No, it's just funny how there are doppelgangers out there.
Look, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's
just exactly the same person.
So I'm not saying. Then there's Claire Johnston as well, who
from Mango Groove. You do look like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just quite strange how these people walking around.
Okay, so next Monday.
Yes.
Why don't you tart up for the show?
Okay.
Okay, tart up and look like that middle picture, because I know you can do it. Not with these horn-rimmed glasses.
Well, I'd have to.
Yeah,
I'd
do
have
the
to
hair.
Get my hair
come on.
Colored and all sorts of
things. Come on.
Okay, maybe not next week because I'm dealing with a lot, but I will.
All right. When is it a good time to look good, Leigh-Ann?
Well, it's not always a priority.
Come on. Tart up for us. I think you want to. I think she wants to tart up. Ooh, so hot, Leigh-Ann, says Tabo.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Wow.
Do it. It'll make you feel better. It'll make us feel better. It'll be a fun thing.
Okay. And you? When are you going to tart up?
Please. I don't get better. This is as good as it gets. What are you talking about?
That's how I feel.
Nonsense. I made a poem. Annelien Kriel got bored and found a new peel. Now she's settled with a business maven in a tax haven. What a lovely poem, Carl. Is that for her birthday? Are you going to send that to her for her birthday, Carl?
Creel and Peel. That's the first thing that came to his mind, and then he built something around it.
Huge Erection, another lovely name, says, proof that beauty's like rich men. If you're struggling to find a hot wife, up your game and earn more money. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's amazing that that's a priority for men. It really is. I'm not...
You know, what I liked about that range of pictures that you put up is that her in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And, you know, I hate to sound like the Birds song, turn, 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 but like there is a season for everything, right? You're not going to look like a, you know, hot 20-something piece of ass in your 60s. If you do, it's going to look weird. Like I know someone who she's trying to be, it's like this girl I know's mom, okay? She's trying to be like mutton dressed as lamb. And it's a little bit awkward because she's like, hi, everybody. Are we ready to party? You're like, no,
Yeah.
you don't need to be doing that.
You know, there's like a blindness that happens.
Listen, maybe there are 20-year-olds saying that about us. Okay? So I get it. Like it's also, there's a huge amount of hubris and like, I know better than you at every age. You always think you know better. The older ones are too old. The younger ones are too young. You think everyone's stupid except you. I get that. But what I'm talking about there with that range of pictures is like, it's appropriate at every age that she looked the way that she did.
Yeah. Now, some people have a blindness with that, right? So that's where you end up with.
That's like this cougar I'm talking about.
70-year-old women who still have this pitch black dyed hair and you know, the nail jewelry. And it's like they're blind to what's actually suited to them
and now
and how they could look better.
And because the times have changed so much and people are now, I think there's a lot that's going on in society that is making it acceptable for men to also behave like that. You're getting guys, and listen, I don't have a problem with this either. We've talked about it on the show. You're getting guys who are going to Turkey for hair transplants. You're getting guys who wear makeup. You're getting guys who are going to gym in their 70s. Awesome, right? I don't have a problem with any of that stuff. I also don't have a problem with guys who dress younger than maybe they are. But there's something kind of cool about like being a little silver fox, you know? Like there's something nice about a guy who's got the laugh lines. Something nice about a woman who's, you can tell from looking into her eyes, she's lived. She's got stories to tell. She's not some rag doll. Rag dolls are probably the wrong. Some doll who has to be put in a cabinet at night and kind of frozen to keep her looking as young as possible at all costs because we worship youth. And I don't think it's necessary. There's something beautiful about someone at every age if they are confident about themselves at that age. Like, I don't think it really matters if you want to put your best foot forward, tart up, like we were saying earlier. There's nothing wrong with that. And nobody's always going to get it right. Some people are just naturally very lucky. They age gracefully. They seem to have the character that can overcome almost any physical flaw. But I do agree with you. Like there's some people are blind to the fact that you can't, like sometimes it's okay to go gray. Sometimes it's okay to like maybe put on a couple of kilos here or there. I'm not saying you should be obese. Sometimes it's okay to let the wrinkles just come. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And that's not going to, it's not going to make you any worse because you're not in the marketplace of a 20-year-old anymore. You're in the marketplace of a 50-year-old. And that's good.
Yeah.
So we've all got to get comfortable like Alan Creel. That's the lesson in those pictures to me.
Absolutely.
I love it.
For her, you know, especially in the space of beauty that she's grown up in and spent her whole life immersed in.
Yeah.
To accept yourself when you get to a certain age, that in itself is beautiful.
Percy Stachiosa says, Gareth's constantly in tart mode. Thanks.
Gareth, you old tart.
Yeah, I'm going to keep on trying. I'm in tart mode. Yeah, that's good.
Tart mode on.
Yes. You know, and it does strike me as very modern to think this way. I mean, like people were old already in their 40s back in the medieval era. You didn't last much past that.
No, and
you were finished.
as recently as our
You may as well have been
grandparents.
100.
Yeah. I mean, I remember my gran, when she turned 50, this is what my mom always said. When her mom turned 50, she would wear a floral dress and matching shoes and matching bag.
Yes.
And cut her hair short and curl it like the queen.
There we go. Slippery Pickle says, James, are you guys using a concave lens on Gareth's cam? His eyes are looking a little close to his nose. Get fucked. Okay. I shave my head, says Carl, because I'm bald, but my pubes are grey. Does that count? Carl, no one's looking down there.
No.
No one is interested. My wide, I think you mean my wife, Dirk. That was a proper slip there. We won't let her see that. Well, James, can we edit this out in case she watches the podcast? My wife is hotter today at 42 than she was at 26 when we met, without surgery. I just pray every day that she doesn't leave me.
That's so sweet.
That is, you know what? Even though you called her a wide, that is the kindest thing I've ever heard any guy in our comment section ever say about his wife. So you know what, Dirk? You can stay.
Jeez.
I like the idea that she's hotter to you at 42 than she was at 26.
Mm.
And you know what? There's something about also knowing people. I said to this mate of mine, I made a speech at his birthday dinner, and I said, you never make new old friends, which is a line I've used before on the show. But it's so true. The more memories you have together, the more lovely that person is. And I said I took this long drive on my own from PE to Plet and then back on the Sunday. And it gives you a chance to think about all the things that you're really grateful for and that make you happy. Mm. And I'm not one of those people who sits and does a gratitude journal or any of that shit. But when I'm in the car on my own, I think about those things because it makes me happy. And if you're not going to put, gratitude back into the world, you're just not going to get any more things. So I think about all the people I have in my life and how much I love them and how many great memories I've got. There's a lot of nostalgia and excitement. There's a bit of sadness because you're like, we can never have all of that again. Because you always think, like, oh, we could always do that again. I could always get together with those people again. But chances are you won't.
Mm.
So it's a memory. And therefore that can bring a little bit of sadness. But mostly it's like pure happiness and joy because you've had an experience of being around each other at a concert or someone's birthday or sharing a really funny story on holiday or whatever it might be. And the fact that you've been through that with somebody, and in Dirk's case with his wife, and you've been doing lots of cool things over the years with them means that relationship is so much more valuable than like what you look like.
No, it's like what Dr. Hanan often says, it's the value that counts the most.
Yeah.
What it's worth and what it would be to lose it.
Do you like having that mic right up your nostrils there? Is that?
I do. It's very comforting.
Because I just noticed now it's like blocking 3/4 of your face. So you can pull it down a little bit. Look at Leanne hiding behind a microphone. Pull it down a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. Yeah. Percy says, row, row, row your boat. Life is but a dream. It's very poetic this morning. But Marco says, very well said, Gareth. I think he agrees with me. The looks, and I, you know how superficial I am, Leanne. I mean, the looks are, it's great in the beginning, but the looks aren't going to keep you there.
Mm-mm.
So there's got to be more to it than that.
It doesn't mean you have to go out with an ugly person.
Oh, hell no. Don't be revolting.
Don't drop your standards too much.
Don't be revolting.
Revolting.
For that. You don't need to lower your standards and go out with someone revolting. Okay, that would be really bad. But you can get to love someone. And you probably will love them more the more time you spend with them. Unless, of course, you're that couple from Dr. Hanan earlier.
Yeah.
Like separating.
Like a quarter of the population is, of the married population are still together. The rest.
Is that it? A quarter, huh?
Mm.
Sure, it's tough out there. Marriage is having a tough time right at the moment. Okay, I would like to know a little bit more about something else that you brought in for this morning in your show and tell book.
Oh, yes.
No, what she said is, what 2-week itinerary would you recommend to someone visiting South Africa for the first time. We've touched on this once or twice before. Like if they come to Joburg, what would you do with someone who's been to Cape Town but never been to Joburg? What if they've only been to Cape Town and Joburg, but they've never been to like the Drakensberg, the Kruger National Park? Those are the obvious ones, but there are lots of not so obvious ones, right?
No, absolutely.
Why do you ask? Have you found the ultimate list for us?
Well, this is meant to be the most practical and the best way of seeing most of South Africa in 2 weeks. And I wanted to know what people think about this.
Okay.
A lot of them are pretty obvious. So this is the 2-week South African itinerary that would take you on an unforgettable journey through the best of South Africa. You would start in Johannesburg for 1 to 3 days.
Okay.
Feels a little long for me. I don't know if it's because I'm from Johannesburg.
You've always been so anti-Joburg.
But I don't know what I would show the person. So that's what caught my attention on this itinerary first. So for 1 to 3 days, you would visit the Apartheid Museum. So very touristy. You would visit neighborhoods like Maboneng and Newtown.
Yes.
You would visit the top of Africa. Did you know that was the name of the top of the Carlton?
Not the Carlton. Who would want to go there? You go to the Leonardo. I was there the other day. That's much higher and much better. And much not in the center of town.
So the tallest building in Africa, according to this, is the top of Africa.
No, man. There's a bar at the top of the Leonardo you can go and see like the whole of Joburg from. Waste your time. The Carlton.
You
can't even get up those stairs probably. Maybe the lifts don't even work.
I looked it up and it said temporarily closed.
Yeah, man. Cuck, that whole building's closed.
I was so confused. So you wouldn't send someone into the middle of town because I wouldn't.
Hell no.
Then
aren't we meant to be looking after tourists or we try to piss them off?
Then listen to this. They give you 3 options of accommodation for each.
All right.
Budget, mid-range and luxury.
Okay.
Well, while you're in Joburg, then why don't you stay in this hostel located in the high energy central neighborhood of Braamfontein?
Are you insane? Do you want these people to sue South Africa for the rest of their lives?
It offers dormitory and private rooms at affordable prices. It has free parking and airport transfers.
Sure, free parking. You know why? Because they take your car.
And is close to a lot of great restaurants and attractions.
Cuck.
This is where it's really piquing my interest.
Who wrote this? Satan?
This is on an international website.
Well, they should shut it down. What's the high range?
I'll give you the mid-range quickly is Voco Johannesburg Rosebank. I'm not sure. I haven't seen that before.
Okay.
It's a hotel.
We don't even know Joburg, clearly.
This is where I started doubting myself. And luxury, the Saxon Hotel, Villas and Spa. This we know.
It's expensive as hell.
Expensive as hell. So I firstly think 1 to 3 days was
too much
overkill, right? Now
and you know what? Frankly, you need to see like Maboneng. I mean, really, a meal and get the fuck out. I mean, there's no need for you to hang around there.
Yeah.
I'm a JOMO, joy of missing out person, so I would have less on that itinerary completely. But okay, let's move on from Joburg.
Okay, now we're off to the Kruger Park. For days 4 to 5.
Right.
So you'd spend 3 days in Joburg and only 2 days in the Kruger Park.
Right.
All right. So you would take a drive or flight to the Kruger National Park. You'd see the Big 5 if you're lucky. You'd spend 2 days exploring the park on game drives or guided walks. So also you could take a self-ride safari. I don't know if I would put tourists on a self-ride.
No, tourists are stupid. They'll get out. And they'll want to feed the lions or no.
They won't get out of the way of the elephant.
If they can afford it and you've got friends that you actually like and they come to South Africa and really money's not an object, there are a million amazing places to send them to. It's if they're cheap or you don't like them.
Then you send them to that hostel in Braamfontein.
Then you send them to the hostel in Braamfontein, followed by a self-safari where you're allowed to get out and pet the lions. All right.
Oh gosh. All right. So we're in the Kruger Park now, and if you decide to drive, you'd be traveling through the panoramic route, so you'd see Blythe River Canyon, etc.
Unless you go on that road that takes you past Bushbuck Ridge,
yes.
in which case the scenery's fucking awful, but okay.
So where to stay? Again, we've got our budget.
Bushbuck Ridge.
There's Skukuza Rest Camp. So that's not bad. I mean, there are so many options. There's chalets and cottages and safari tents and
nothing wrong with the Kruger Park, yeah.
The Satara Rest Camp and the Lower Sabi Rest Camp. And then it's saying within private game lodges, there's several of those. You'd have your luxury experience.
Listen,
those.
you get the ones where you got your little private plunge pools that's kept at 28 degrees, no matter what time of the year it is. There's a little dish with every kind of biltong that you can ever think of.
Yeah.
There's the game drive at whatever time you want to go.
The bath overlooking the savannah.
Everything. And they literally will bring you, say you want to see 10 leopards? Well, yeah, we've made it. We can make that happen. The leopards are like, coming. Okay, yeah, you get those.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're off to Durban.
Oh, do we have to?
Do you see?
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a bullshit thing, but okay, let's go. Let's just, we're you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Days
Durban.
6 and 7 in Durban.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So from the airport in Kruger, you would fly to Durban.
To King Shaka Airport, right?
Correct.
Uh-huh.
And now you're looking for your beaches, your delicious Indian food, and reliably warm weather. A great place to start here is Minitown.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
You see?
It's been wiped away. Someone has bulldozed it. I'm pretty sure it's not there anymore. Minitown.
So that's where it's...
Minitown was fun and looked, I think it had its last paint job when I was 5.
Yeah.
It's over, guys. There's got to be more in Durban than Minitown. Oh, wait, there isn't. No, okay, we can do the Indian food.
Yes.
But you'd have to actually find an Indian family that would cook for you.
That's the thing for me. It's about the personal experience.
Yeah.
You're sending people to restaurants.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
No.
I've said it before. Once in the Seychelles, we found a local fisherman.
Was this travel list set up by like a Nigerian prince? Hanin says it's a scam, right? So they give details that you can book with them and then they steal all your money. Is that what this is?
Could
Durban.
be.
No, if you forced me to spend a night in Durban, because I wouldn't want to go there right now. I know that lots of people are happy there, guys. Place is just disastrous, right? So if you had to spend a night there, maybe the God, it's really difficult, hey.
Well, I've got your budget, mid-range, and luxuries.
Go on.
So let's see. Excuse me. Your budget would be the Bel Air Suites Hotel on the Golden Mile.
Whoa.
Yeah. Mid-range, also near Golden Mile, is the Travel Inn in Durban.
Oh my God. That's mid-range in Durban, you must know. Look at Leigh-Ann, she's coughing in horror.
Sorry.
It's so
I've got
revolting.
this
Okay, and the
thing.
upper end?
Oyster Box.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay, look, Oyster Box, yeah, cool. All right, that's probably the only reason to go to Durban. Right, let's get the fuck out of there.
Let's
Next.
get out of there. We're going to Drakensberg, which you recommended.
Yeah.
And I think that would be lovely.
Mhm.
So you would drive from Durban into the Drakensberg. Beautiful drive once you start nearing there.
If you know where you're going and you have GPS.
Yes, you must have GPS.
If you're some foreign tourist, I heard a story over the weekend about this couple that it meant to take a 3-hour drive. It ended up being like 10. And then everything was everyone else's fault, but they didn't know how to operate their GPS. Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
Or get someone to drive you if you don't know.
Yes.
We have huge unemployment in this country. It's bound to be someone who can drive you there.
Yes, you hire the car and let them drive it.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got fantastic hikes. You've got beautiful Cathedral Peak, Giant's Castle, the amphitheater.
Yeah, but cut to the chase. What's the budget accommodation in the Drakensberg?
All right.
A hut.
Where to stay? Budget is Ledges Retreat near the Royal Natal National Park.
Okay.
Gorgeous setting.
I don't know it, but right.
Everything included. Mid-range is the Montusi Mountain Lodge.
I've been there. It's magic.
Really?
I've
never heard of it.
So nice. Like really nice. Fireplaces in every room.
Okay, so they say for luxury also Montusi Mountain Lodge because you've got so many variables again.
Right.
And
I mean, beautiful. And you're right in the amphitheater there. Lovely. Okay, good.
Oh,
It's
it makes
best
me want to go
suggestion
there.
so far. Yeah, especially in winter. Oof, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we end off in Cape Town, days 10 to 12. I definitely would have shaved a day off of Joburg and added it to Cape Town.
Right.
Because you're not talking about just Cape Town itself, you're talking about the winelands as well. Obviously, you would fly there. And then they recommend the double-decker hop on, hop off.
Well, people like that because it gives you your bearings.
You can also just get off when you want to.
Yeah, and people do that in all these other big European and North American cities.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's acceptable when you're on a short trip.
Sure.
And then they say maybe Clifton Beach, Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens.
Yeah.
Table Mountain, of course, taking the cable car up to different hikes.
Got to do that.
Boulders Beach,
Right.
Simonstown.
It's going to be a wine farm.
Right. Then we head to the winelands. They're saying do a driving tour of the Cape Town winelands. That means somebody's not going to be able to drink. So I'd rather, again, take a tour.
Azalea says there in the comments, put that up again, guys, because this may be something we should do. We should take the team on this trip and do the show from these places to give us a proper review. I'll do the upper end ones. James can do the budget ones.
Oh, is that how you're going to split
and
it
you
up?
can do the medium ones. How about that? All right, are you in, James?
I would do it for the
you're
medium
gonna stay at that. You're gonna stay at that Backpackers in Braamfontein.
Brummies.
Oh, so he's busy that day.
No, I think it's important to go and test these places out.
Matthew says, "What, Cape Flat's not on the list?"
Yeah, you see, that wasn't in there. So that wraps it up, guys. I mean,
yes, it's
what are
Leigh-Ann.
your
I'm glad
thoughts?
you're not my tour guide. Hey, if you came at me with that list, I'd really think that you needed your head read. And you say this is a reputable travel website that people trust. No wonder tourism's in the toilet. Who's our Minister of Tourism now? We got a new one.
Oh gosh, who
Or
is it
still
again?
Pat DeLille? It's still Patricia DeLille. Listen, Patricia, you had those posters that said, vote for Auntie Pat. So Auntie Pat, look at this list and fix it. There's a lot of cuck on there. We need to find more reasons for people to come here. Honestly. Oh, okay. Alan Knott-Craig's online. Well, let's get to him. We'll waste his time like
Really was looking forward
James
to Craig,
would've.
but anyway. Get what you get.
All right, Leigh-Ann, enough of that stupid old joke. He's heard it a million
I'm sure.
times. Alan Knott-Craig is the entrepreneur, author, founder of Fibertime TM, aiming to eradicate the digital divide through innovative pay-as-you-go fiber internet solutions for townships. His smash bestseller, Don't Panic, I think that was the last time I spoke to you, Alan, was based on an email to employees. It was published back in 2008. He lives in Stellenbosch, and he's written a new book called Life Lessons, How to Fail and Win. So nice to see you again. How are you?
Great, thanks, Gareth. Nice to see you again as well.
Yeah, sorry about Leanne's cuck joke. She really doesn't have a lot of scope.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He's heard this when he was at school, Leigh-Ann.
I know, and also his father, senior.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your
And my
dad had to
grandfather
go
as well.
through all those jokes long before you. In fact, your dad probably said to you, like, "Nah, listen, son, this is going to happen at some point. Just be ready." And you were like, "Oh."
No, I wish nobody gave me any warning. Yeah. If you're not Craig, who are you?
All right, so tell us about the new book, because this sounds interesting. I hear lots of people saying, fail forward, fail fast, and admit your mistakes and learn from them and move on. But I'm sure that those 3 sentences are not enough to make a book. So what kinds of things have you stumbled upon here that made you sit there and go, hang on, there's quite a lot here. I think we need to put a book together.
Yeah, look, my whole life I've been taking notes about all the mistakes I made and all the things I remembered. And I mean, just to be clear, it's not a book about hardship. It's not about overcoming hardship or struggle or anything like that. I've come from a pretty privileged background. But there's still a lot of lessons that I learned that I wish I'd known when I was 25. Things like, marry the right person. And if you, I mean, luckily I married the right person, but if you marry the wrong person, get divorced quickly and marry another right person. Don't give up when you make a bad decision, rip off the Band-Aid, move on. I learned a lot of lessons about partners, how to find the right partner, how to find the wrong partner, how to get out of bed with the wrong partner. 100 little things like that. And kind of evolved from an entrepreneurial story into like a life story,
Well, I mean, let's start with that, because I think there's so many people, including we had an email earlier that we read to Dr. Hanan, who's our psychologist on the show. Yes, we do need one, by the way. And that was about someone who has been married for 25 years, but it's just not working anymore. Now, in business, it's very hard to find that right partner. And when you do, you kind of have to know what the ground rules are. That's what he said. And even if things go wrong, you need to know what the ground rules are so that everybody can move forward with consistency, right? So if you were to choose a new business partner now, Alan, with all your experience, and by the way, I mean, you've started Cellfind, iBurst, you were involved with Mixit, HeroTel, the 21 companies that you founded or run. So you've had lots of partners along the way. What makes for a really good business partner?
You have to, just my opinion. It's a lot like what you're looking for in a wife or a husband. You're trying to find somebody who laughs at your jokes. If you don't share the same sense of humor, you've got a problem. And this is about values. So it helps if you kind of come from the same kind of upbringing. The 10 Commandments or whatever your things are.
Yeah.
And I think I think there's like some obvious giveaways when you find the wrong partner. Like greed, for instance, you kind of know that this person doesn't look at the world the way you look at the world, but you're so desperate that you're willing to turn a blind eye to things like that. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's a secret formula that you can write down a little list and you can go through that list. I think you go with whoever's in front of you, and if you've made a mistake, you quickly move on. You don't just stick it out for 20 years just because you've made a decision. You kind of move quickly, and you try to turn up the temperature as quickly as you can in the relationship so that you find out quickly who you're in bed with. And if you've made a mistake, you move on. That's kind of that's the important thing.
And it can be costly, but money is something that sometimes it's the cheapest thing to lose, because there's your sanity on the line, there's your family, your relationships, the fact that you could start again, and sometimes money is actually the best way out of some of these things too. I mean, I know somebody who said, actually, when you're getting divorced, the best thing to do is to get rid of that person at all costs, even if it does cost everything.
Yeah, I look, it's not fun losing money, and I don't want to underestimate how that stuff's not fun. And I have lost money that way, and I actually did when one of my partnerships didn't go so well. I did actually give away a lot, and it was just whatever it cost was good for me, because I actually think it doesn't really matter what you're doing with your life if you're not enjoying who you're doing your life with or doing your business with, you're not going to be happy. So, but yeah, I mean, look, I think it's more emotional stuff, to be honest. The stuff that really kind of, I thought was more painful than the money was the kind of emotional investment you make in people and then disappointing yourself and others. So, live and learn.
So we live in South Africa, and South Africans, a lot of us in South Africa, we don't have the view of failure that the guys in Silicon Valley have, or even in parts of the world like China and India, where there are so many people and there's so many things going on that your chances of continuing to succeed or even making it are getting less and less if you don't move quickly.
Highly competitive.
Yeah, and we attach like such shame to failure in South Africa. I think it's fair to say that, don't you?
Yeah, I think we are a little bit Calvinistic around here. But I don't think it's such a bad thing to look down upon failure. It's not something to really celebrate, to be honest. But I think if you're out there and the more the risks you're taking, you must have done this 100 times. You must have made mistakes on air, etc. And you look back and you cringe and you think
all the time,
shouldn't have done that. But you become immune to it. It's almost like having a vaccination. You become immune to this kind of fear of failure. It's more the fear of failure that's the problem than what people think. And once you've kind of gone through a couple of those little stumbles and come out the other side. And in my own career, I've made 100 mistakes and maybe 2 or 3 good decisions. And just a couple of good decisions or, kind of lucky breaks got me ahead of the game. So, failing hundreds of times, that's probably a big lesson I learned. You don't really have to worry so much if you make lots of little mistakes. As long as you get a couple of big ones right, you're going to be okay down the road.
That's such a valuable point. And also, other people aren't really looking at your life through a magnifying glass. You think they are. You think they're all looking at you with your last failure, for example, and they're going, oh, that guy's such a failure. But probably they're not even thinking about you, right?
Yeah, as one of my friends once told me, that the people when there's bad press about you, the people who matter don't care. People who care don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of carried a lot through all of this. But, you know, the one thing that I think I was told this when I was young, but I didn't fully appreciate it, is that, you know, business is rough and tumble, and you've got to harden the apron. You know, I mean, you can't be in this game and think to yourself it's all going to be kid gloves, etc. And, you know, once you've kind of got your head around the fact that it's not always going to be fair and it's not always going to be fun stuff, then, you know, when you hit those little bumps in the road, you're not thinking, oh, woe is me, I'm the only one out there. If you're not willing to have a little bit of a street fight, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
And do you attach a huge amount of value to patience? Having been in business a while, you said, you know, it's a couple of lucky breaks, 3 or 4 things. You said 2 or 3, but I don't believe it. You've been successful in more than 2 or 3. A couple of lucky breaks, but some hard work that's gone on behind the scenes. When those good things happen, rare as they are, they can sometimes spur on incredible success. But patience is valuable, right? You have to sometimes wait a lot longer than you thought for things to come to fruition.
Look, I hate patience. I hate patience. The concept of patience is not what I like. Very impatient person. And I don't think it's a good thing to encourage too many people to be patient, because that's kind of the people that said Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, they weren't in Rome, so they wouldn't know. But that said, I think that what I've realized is what I respect about you, Gareth, is you're still going. You know, I respect people that don't give up. You know, it's like this. And the longer people are around still chasing, the more respect they get. So you're not going to get a lot of respect in any industry if you're not, you know, around for a long time. And my own experience of little businesses was it took about 2.5 years before I knew, you know, we were on a good track or not. And, you know, if we were on a wrong track, I would stop and start another business. I'd still chase the same purpose. I'd still be trying to make a profit. I'd still be trying to get people on the internet. I would just try it in a different way. So there's like a little subtlety to that whole thing. You don't want to get stuck going down a dead end for 20 years, but you don't want to change your mission every 2.5 years either. I mean, and patience is part of it, you know. So, you know, I mean, I don't think I'm a patient person, but I'm so fixated on my purpose and I'm so fixated on trying to make a living that I am kind of in the game and I'm not giving up, you know.
Well, I appreciate the honesty, because most people would go, oh, no, patience is very important. And, you know, I've learned.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it, though? Especially with our era, you were seen as a more valued person if you were stable in your job and you'd worked somewhere for 20 years.
Stuck it out.
You stuck it out and you worked hard, you know, and you went through the good and the bad.
And you got to watch it like 60 years old from the company.
And then we were followed by a generation of, geez, if this thing isn't working after 3 months, I'm out of here.
Dump it.
Yeah. So it's about finding that balance, I think. Knowing when to leave.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, a lot of people ask me when to start a business. I mean, my old man never told me to start a business. He told me to go get a job and work for a company. Every time I tried to start a business, he'd kind of try to discourage me. I remember the last time, in fact, the hero told me quite well. He told me I'm making a massive mistake. I shouldn't do it.
Really?
I'm not sure we should listen to our parents. I think listen to your parents until you're about 25, because they know more than you do. But over the age of 25, you've got to make your own decisions. And most of your parents, if they love you, don't want you to get hurt. So they're not going to suggest you go down the path of risk. They're going to suggest you go on the safe path. But the only path with any is going to be the path of risk.
That's quite a big thing that you just said now, is that sometimes, because most people, you know, you should trust your parents, certainly if they love you and they do want the best for you. But business and doing the cool and interesting and exciting stuff carries a huge amount of risk with it. And obviously anyone who loves you is going to say, rather go the safe path. They're not trying to make you less successful. They just want you to be comfortable, happy, secure, with a minimum amount of risk, because they love you, they care about you. But sometimes that doesn't go with actually making things happen.
100%. And, you know, the girls and guys that are really talented are the ones in the most difficult position. I mean, nobody ever offered me a job. You know, I didn't come top of my class in anything. I was never the fastest in anything. I was just such a B player. And so, you know, the world is not like offering me opportunities. Whereas, you know, if you are that kind of A player, duck scholar, etc., you know, the corporate world is sucking you into that world, and there's a lot of low risk, relatively high reward stuff. And getting out of that game to be an entrepreneur is very, very difficult. So, if, you know, for those people, good luck. My own path to be an entrepreneur is I couldn't get a job.
Yeah, and some of us are just unemployable, right? Are you one of those people who believes that business is really ruthless and that it's mean? Or is there a way for business to be fun and exciting without having to be cutthroat?
No, I definitely the latter. I mean, I think my 99% of my experience in business it's been a lot of fun. It's been very honorable. It hasn't been cutthroat. It's a wonderful part of the sector. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But there are some businessmen who are total dicks.
Yeah.
And there are some businessmen that use litigation as a tool. And there's some people that screw people. And I've encountered those people. I've had partners like that, and it hasn't been fun.
Right.
And like I said, business is tumble. You've got to kind of deal with them every now and again. But it's not part of the daily grind. It's very seldom. And the vast majority of people I deal with are just great people. Everyone's just trying to make a buck and get ahead.
So when we talk about how the world has changed, and this is very much in your wheelhouse, the internet, the ability for people to access information like never before, the ability for people to set up networks, to meet the people that they want to meet, to get the businesses that they've got on their mind off the ground. It's probably never been a better time than right now. I think that sounds like something nobody wants to hear if they're nervous to make the move. But it really is like all the stars are aligned for anyone who has a great idea and a good work ethic and is prepared to put themselves out there and take the risk. Do you think that that's true, or do you think that it was easier to start a business in the pre-internet age?
No, it's definitely easier now. I mean, the internet's obviously leveled the playing field for a lot of people. But I think more than that, I think the first thing you've got to realize is you shouldn't be picking a business that's an industry that's highly competitive. That's the problem with the kids that did really well at school. They go to 100-meter dash and they're taught to compete, and they win when they compete. And they do maths and they compete and they win when they compete. Guys like me who wanted to win but couldn't actually win in any competition, we'd find a game that nobody else was playing and we'd win because nobody else was playing. Now, that's a good lesson because as an entrepreneur, you want to go find gaps. You don't want to go find something that everybody else is doing and do it better than them or do it harder than them. I think more for me, in my own personal journey, I got extremely lucky in my career. And one of the things I got very lucky on was my first business. We started in 2003. And it was the beginning of a big economic boom. The global it ended in the global financial crisis, but we sold that business in 2007. And, that 4 or 5 years was the whole economy was pumping, interest rates were low, everything was going up. So, if you've got a boat on a rising tide, everyone makes money. Yeah. And it feels to me like the second context right now is kind of close to that. We've had high interest rates for a while. We had COVID. It's been a hectic couple of years. Yeah. Economy's been struggling, companies, individuals. But as the US interest rates start coming down, inflation comes down, South Africa's interest rates will come down. You combine that with the miraculous election outcome and the kind of sentiment that we've got in South Africa right now, it could be a 5, 6, 7 year little rising tide. And then anybody who's got a boat in that tide's going to make money. So, it's got a better chance of making that money than when the tide's going out.
Alan, how do you know, I don't know if you address this in the book or not, but how do you know when you've actually made it? Because there are probably really successful people that we all know that have done so well. They've shot the lights out. They've absolutely revolutionized some particular industry. They've made tons and tons of money, but deep down inside, they don't think they've made it. How do you know? How do you know that you've been one of those people who can say, yeah, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve there?
Well, I mean, and again, I'm only speaking from experience and I reserve the right to change my mind. But I do think that reading all these books, your health is the most important thing. If you lost your health, it doesn't matter how much money and how much family you've got. The second thing is your wife. If your relationship's weak, that's not going to be it doesn't matter how good everything else is. And the person you're going to spend the most time with you in your whole life is your spouse. Obviously, your kids. So health and family. And then as a pure entrepreneur, it's about money. There's a lot of purpose. I personally have a great purpose. I think I'm connecting people with the internet. I think I'm making the world a better place and giving people a shot. But the truth is the measuring stick is money. Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, you want to try to get to a number that you don't feel that you don't have to think about money anymore, that you're just working because you want to work, not because you need to make money. And I actually I was very lucky. I was once invited to a dinner with Bill Gates about 10 years ago. I asked him, I said, Mr. Gates, what's the magic number? Where do you stop needing to worry about money? And he said, it's $10 million. He just said it straight. I mean, so wow. I think if you $10 million, then you don't think about money anymore. And a lot of entrepreneurs, that's kind of what you got to get in your head. And quite funnily, a lot of people think it's a lot more than that. So you don't have to get a lot more than that. You just got to get to that number, and then you don't think about it anymore. And from then on, you move on. So, and then for the rest, I think, I like Phil Knight from Shoe Dog. I like Anton Rupert from Rembrandt. I like some of these entrepreneurs that built these kind of global businesses. So, saying that you left something behind that wasn't just in South Africa, that would be quite cool.
Melissa asks in the comments, she says, how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance? And what advice would you give to others struggling in this area? I'm sure you know countless stories of these unbelievable business mavericks who've done such incredible things, but their family hate them because they've never really spent any time with them. That balance is hard to achieve, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And look, I've had my speed wobbles. I'm not perfect. But, about 15 years ago, I Googled, how do I wake up early in the morning? Because I used to be a late sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
And some guy said on the internet that he used to be a late sleeper, and then he just figured out how to wake up early in the morning. And since then, I've been waking up at 4:30 or 5 every morning. And it's just amazing what you can get done if you cram in those early hours, whether it's exercise or reading or meditation or or work. You can do everything that you would be doing in the evening. And then what I personally make sure is I just absolutely fanatically make sure from 6 o'clock onwards I don't look at my phone and I'm with my wife and my kids. That's my work-life balance there. And around exercise, I try to integrate exercise into my day. So I go for walking meetings. I try to go to gym, but I try to do walking meetings, etc. So yeah, and I'm very lucky. I married a great lady. She looks after me. I'm so grateful. She makes sure I eat well, etc. If you've got that partner, it's going to make a big difference.
So Kanisa Sineke in the comments says, hi Gareth, please ask your guest, when is Fiber Time coming to Makanda in Grahamstown?
Yeah.
So it seems that people in Grahamstown are clamoring for your product.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Tell her we're coming as quickly as we can. We're actually in PE at the moment, in Cape Town and PE. We're coming to Joburg soon.
Cool.
So Makanya's on the list. Yeah.
And I mean, this is another thing that Don Kitty says in the comments. I'd say starting a business isn't for everyone. I mean, entrepreneurship is having its moment in history. I think entrepreneurs are looked at as rock stars these days. We used to envy celebrities. I think now the world's most famous people are probably really great tech entrepreneurs.
Especially in the world of VR and AR and AI.
Yeah, I think that's true. But entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, Alan. It's a really tough thing. Everybody goes, oh, that's so nice. You can take a holiday whenever you want, or you can pay yourself whatever you want. But that's not how it works at all. You and your needs come at the end of a very long list of things that need to be accomplished every single month. And while most people who have a job are happy on the 25th of the month, this is their best week right now. This is an entrepreneur's worst week right now, right?
100%. And you'll only know it when you tried it. I mean, in the old days, they used to say every family had a black sheep, and they swapped it with an entrepreneur. Like you'd kind of have to have an entrepreneur in your family. Everyone had a curse. And I think most entrepreneurs are struggling. I don't think the vast majority of entrepreneurs are doing really well. So it's not the easiest grind you'll ever do. But a lot of people knew what they wanted to do with life. I don't know what I wanted to do with my life. I became an entrepreneur because I couldn't get a job. But if you know what you're going to do with your life, and that happens to be an actuary or an auditor or a marketing manager, well, that's great. I think this kind of journey is really just for those people who got a little itch they want to scratch. And and the only way to figure out whether that itch is for you is scratch it and try it out. And to do that, you need to have a safety net. You need to have kind of some fallback position because it's so financially risky. It helps having a wife that's making a bit of money. It helps to have a bit of savings. It helps to have not a lot of debt. It helps having a simple lifestyle. And then you give it a go. And after a couple of years, if it isn't working, you go back into corporate and you don't look back over your shoulder thinking, what if?
Yeah, South Africa is a good place for this. You mentioned how we're going into a kind of new era now. I certainly feel that way. But I think that this place has always been a good place to try things out because I think the cost of failure isn't as unbelievably high. And I also think that we've got so many problems that are ready to be solved that if you're brave enough to try and solve one of those problems, it's not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed, but you may end up making quite a lot of money.
I think that point is actually the most important point. South Africa is one of these unique countries that has, first of all, type of infrastructure, banking systems, company registrars, technology, human resources, all of that. And it's got these third world problems. So we've got towns. Most countries with slums don't have enough first world infrastructure to tackle the problems in the slums. We have the combination of both. So if you can figure out a way to tackle problems in slums and townships, you're going to make a lot of money. And because there's not a lot of competition there, and there's an enormous market over there. So I think that's a big thing. And that's one of the reasons I'll never live overseas, is because firstly, it's too competitive. You're tackling problems that everyone's trying to tackle. And secondly, what are you doing? Just trying to help rich people have a better life. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's just once you've lived in a country like South Africa, where purpose everywhere, and you look around and you can see so many people are less fortunate than you, and you can help them, then everything else feels a bit meaningless. So that's South Africa for me.
The book is called How to Fail and Win: Life Lessons from Alan Knott-Craig. How much time do you actually get to write things like this? Or are you using AI? Because I think a lot of people are using AI to do things now, and we're not even sure whether we'll need human authors at some point in the future. You ask the right questions, you'll get brilliant answers from AI.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a view on this whole AI thing, but I wake up early.
You don't have any view on it? You're neither a friend nor a foe of it?
No, I honestly don't care. It's just noise. It's like the elections, it's entertaining, but it's just noise. I just keep my head down. My mission, I want to get people on the internet. That's it,
All right. I love that. I think a lot of people are unhealthily obsessed with it, but I think that it's probably going to be an important component of our future. But you're saying, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, right?
If there's a bridge.
Maybe it's not in your future. I love it. Okay, Alan, it's very good to see you. It's nice to spend some time with you as always. Good luck with the book. I'm sure it's going to be a real winner. Life Lessons, How to Fail and Win with Alan Knott-Craig this morning. And I wish you well. It's always nice to catch up with you.
Thanks, guys. Nice to see you. Cheers.
Thanks. Great to see you too. Sure. Lots to think about this morning.
But that's so true. What Alan was saying about South Africa. It is really the land of opportunity if you are an entrepreneur or a businessman. There's so much to fix.
You have to remember to keep people like Leigh-Ann far away from you, at least one chair away, so that, if she coughs on you, you don't get sick.
Yes. Well, we hope that this is short-lived.
And she's going to tart up for us. Maybe not next week, but soon.
I'll surprise you one day.
That'll be fantastic. I'll be so excited. But just make sure that you warn me a little bit so that I don't end up looking like a homeless person on the day that you tart up, all right? That'll be very nice.
There's only so much tarting up you can do.
Nonsense. I've seen you when you really need to. You pull out all the whistles and bells and all those kinds of things. All right, everybody. It is almost time for us to wrap things up. Have an awesome day, and we will see you on Wednesday morning, 6 o'clock, bright and early, right here. We've actually got a cool couple of things happening this week. Let me give you a little forecast of what else is coming. Warris is joining us on Wednesday. I don't know if you've seen, but he's been so outspoken about, among other things, American politics. So he's going to be popping in. We're going to be talking about that and a whole lot of other stuff. We've got Luiso Gola likely to join us on Friday. So plenty of good stuff this week. Stick around. We'll keep you company. Have an excellent Monday and keep warm.
And this time she wants to be a glamour puss. And voila, here's our glamour puss. She's wearing a black leotard, a little white jacket we found at a thrift shop. And look what we did with her hair. We made cat ears out of her hair. Or you can go all out and do this.